Tale of Two Cities is a book you should read. And that's sort of the Edmonton Oilers story last year. Started well, fell off a cliff, turned it around in January, and had an absolutely great season after that, and dismantled their Alberta rivals in the second round. Is this the year the Oilers go to the finals? But first, give me the odds, Jesse. What do we got on the points?
On Sports Interaction, they have the Edmonton Oilers regular season points over-under at 102.5.
Oh. Their last season, they had 104.
Oh.
If you have them, and I know you do, winning the division.
No, I don't.
You don't have them winning the division?
Nope.
You had them second. That's right. You had the Flames winning the division.
Regular season, though. Don't yell at me. It's just regular season.
I think Calgary and Edmonton are runaway the two best teams in this. There's no reason why both of them can't be over 105 points, honestly. And I say Edmonton makes an improvement for sure. Like, without that skid in January, Edmonton is far higher and fighting for the division.
So this is my thing, and I'm curious where you guys end up answering this question. What is the biggest factor in this season with the Edmonton Oilers? What's their biggest improvement?
Goaltending.
Jesse says goaltending. Adam says...
I would say having Jay Woodcroft the entire year.
Yeah.
That's my answer. They have Jay Woodcroft for the full season, and I'm inserting in there. They also have Evander Kane for a full season.
Oh, yeah.
He was unstoppable in the playoffs for them. So a full season of those two big factors, Jay Woodcroft behind the bench and Evander Kane probably, I assume, playing on the top line. That, to me, is a bigger factor than their goaltending because, believe it or not, Mike Smith wasn't bad.
No, Mike Smith had a decent season, and I 100% agree with you. I thought you were referring to on-ice stuff. Off-ice, Dave Tippett, last 23 games with the Edmonton Oilers, 7-13-3.
Motto.
Woodcroft, 38 games with the Oilers, ending the season, 26-9-3. Oh, the team was unbelievable.
Yeah, wow. I'm sorry. I got the over.
Wow.
Now I'm starting to regret my pick, but whatever. I still have them very high.
But Jesse, I want to bring something up because the lineup, when you look at the lineup this year to last, other than the head coach, the starting lineup is almost identical. Okay. But what they actually did this year was solve a problem, or at least attempt to solve a problem that has been a problem for every Oilers GM since the 2006 run with Dwayne Rolison, and that is goaltending. You know, Jack Campbell was great out the start of the year last year. I remember when we were talking about him. I was like, he should be going to the Olympics. You know, if they go, he should be going. He was unbelievable.
Best goalie in the league in November.
And then after November, he was sub 900 the rest of the way. And it got so bad that the Leafs almost dropped a first-round pick for Marc-Andre Fleury at the trade deadline. Now, Jack doesn't need to be 9-15, 9-20 great for the Oilers to be a great team. But they upgraded both goalies because Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen are gone. Stuart Skinner is going to be the backup. Jack Campbell, assuming he stays healthy, probably plays 45 to 50 games. Jesse, I want to ask you about that goaltending.
Yeah.
Do you think that finally is solidified, or do you still have questions about Jack Campbell? You saw a lot of him last year.
Jack Campbell's awful season last year, right? We kind of all agree he was a little shaky. What was his save percentage?
Did it end sub 900?
Was Jack
Campbell
904?
904? 914.
Whoa.
Are you
Jack
kidding?
Campbell propped up his season with that November, but overall, he was a 914. That's really good.
That's amazing.
And if, let's say he's a little less than, let's say he's a 908. The Edmonton Oilers are so good offensively, and their defense was solid during the playoffs, especially in that Calgary series, that 908, just fine. Jack Campbell is going to lead this team to an easy division win.
Right. And with 28
Easy
games of Mike Smith
Yeah.
last year at a 915, the Oilers did great. Like 27, they were 16-9 in that time.
And so I mentioned the full season of Jay Woodcroft, the full season of Evander Kane. Another guy who they picked up halfway, who ended up being a really good part of that team, Brett Kulak.
Yeah.
And he was really good for them in the playoffs, and he's going to make Jack Campbell and Stuart Skinner's lives a little easier. You expect Evan Bouchard to take a step. I'm very interested to see what they do with Philip Broberg. If they let him go, and I mean, he's only 21, kind of difficult to make a huge impact on the back end at that age, but I expect their defense to be better which will help their goaltending.
You can tell this podcast is a little too into hockey. And the reason that we're a little too into hockey is because we are avoiding the only two players that matter. At the end of the day, Evan Bouchard can take a step forward. Oilers media can continue to hate Jesse Puljujarvi while Oilers Twitter continues to love him. Jack Campbell can have a 904 or a 914. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Connor McDavid is 25 years old this season. He'll turn 26 in January. 25, 26 is where you begin your prime. So it's conceivable
He's even better?
that he could take a step forward.
Oh, yeah.
Leon Draisaitl as well. Imagine Leon Draisaitl, but he can skate because he was injured for most of the playoffs last year. What do these two guys bring to the NHL this year? Not just the Oilers, the NHL.
Yeah, this is a tough read for me. McDavid, I agree with you, could be even better. Like, is he capable of the first 150 point season we've seen in forever? Or even 140, something like that. I think he's absolutely capable of that. But Leon Draisaitl has to be there with him. Now, I'm not going to bet against him. A lot of people did in the playoffs because he couldn't move, and then he decided to become the best stationary player in the NHL. But again, the regular season slog versus the Stanley Cup playoffs. If Draisaitl feels anything like he did in the playoffs, I don't think it makes sense for him to play through it personally. And from the organization standpoint, if he's still feeling the effects of that injury, keep him out. Keep him out. This team is strong enough that they should be able to get by without him for, like, I don't know, let's say it's a couple weeks. I just have a hard time envisioning Leon Draisaitl playing all 82 games this year or being at 100%. If you're the Edmonton Oilers, you're at a point, I think, in your development where you don't necessarily have to fret about just scraping into the playoffs anymore. I think they're at a point where they can look at a playoff spot like the Tampa Bay Lightning do, where they're like, listen, we'll just get in and we'll figure it out once we're there. Priority one should be making sure everyone is ready to go come April.
And once they are there, guys, you're looking at this team. This is a Western Conference finalist team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Dismantled the Calgary Flames. Embarrassed the Calgary Flames.
I thought they embarrassed the Flames in the one game the Flames won.
Well, they did, yeah. Because remember, they came back with scored 6, and then
I think it was 6-1 or 6-2.
Yeah,
and they came back. Ridiculous.
Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl combined for 65 points in 32 games in the playoffs.
That doesn't even sound real.
And in the regular season, just in case you're wondering, 123 points plus 110 points is 233 points between the two of them.
It's okay.
Guys, does this team have it to take the hardest step of all? The hardest step of all being, okay, that's great. Maybe they win the division. Jesse and I have them pegged to win the division. You already know that.
I'm regretting not pegging them.
Well, because the more you talk about the Oilers, the more you like the Oilers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do they have it to get through Colorado? Because I think it's going to be Colorado. Can they beat them? Can they take it to the Stanley Cup final this year? Finally.
Colorado, I mean, how do I say this? The Oilers have fewer question marks in net than the Avalanche do at this point, right? You got Georgiev, who was a backup last year, who's now the Avalanche's starter. And there's Pavel Francouz, who did well in the playoffs last year against Edmonton. But then the Oilers improve with Jack Campbell and they improve with Stuart Skinner. Oh boy. I think once you get into the Final Four, it's a bit of a crapshoot. And would anyone at this table be surprised if they got back there?
No, not in the Final Four.
Not one of them.
I'm asking, can they make it to the Final Two?
Oh, I think so, man. I absolutely think so.
Jesse, do you think they have them?
No one has a better chance to end Canada's drought than Edmonton.
Yeah, on paper, you got one of the top 5 best teams in the National Hockey League. There's a group of like 7 that got a shot to win the Stanley Cup, and the Edmonton Oilers are on that list.
So, with our remaining 10 seconds, I just want to remind you, Jesse and I have them winning the division. Steve has them coming second. I think either's a good choice.
Yep.
But in case you're keeping track of this, so you can make fun of us later, that's where we're at.